Hi, Gypsy Rover. This is Twinkle Eye Joey, and I got the invite about your Dark Hunters cabin costume countdown party on Devil's Night, and I'm so a coming. Oh, here we go again, and that, and so. Um, we'll be looking forward to checking out the spooky old cabin, and I hear we can have a spooky old time. And I think I'm going to invite a friend too. Hmm, this is interesting. Hi, Gypsy Rover. This is this is Be Cool Brittany. Just kidding. And I'm also a coming to the Hunter's Cabin. Uh, what you call checking out this spooky old Hunter's Cabin, and that, and we hear that it's going to be a good. It's reopening one more time for Halloween night until next year, and that. So I'm looking forward to actually checking this out, and that, and I think I have a friend too that might be coming. So let's see if they're available. Well, I guess that's all the so far. I guess that's coming down to all the people that are going to be coming, and and that's going to be a fun night, and that. So, um, let's see. Uh, yeah, so I just so far like this is back to the Gypsy Rover, and I'm just checking out some of these extras. I think they're really cool, and I don't want to change my screen color. We'll keep the blue and that, and oh 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 nope. Uh, we'll go back to that, and so anyhow, um, I want to see what. Uh, yeah, so it's like I said, it's going to be quite interesting, and then we're going to see what else I can put up on the screen here, and hopefully no cats are getting hyper behind me today and this kind of thing. And again, I think we're getting a good crowd here. I'm not. So, okay, I was just checking out some of these other extra icons. Um, yeah. Yeah, so far they're looking quite good on here. So, I mean, we got everything from Ghostbusters and that. So anyhow, oh, getting situated, and that, we're going to, so like I said, Hunter's Cabin is going to reopen one more time for Devil's Night, and which is October 30th, and Halloween. And I'll let you know that these are, because we're not in the house anymore, yes, we don't get trick-or-treaters because they only come as far as the front doors downstairs to the apartment building. If the superintendent hands out downstairs, that's different. Most years she does. But again, mind you that this is now, this Halloween setup now is a Facebook show. And that. So, because we don't have the house now, and it's cool because I have everything under wind control now, what we call it, and while everybody else is, it's funny, everybody's getting all annoyed because all their decorations fly away in the wind, that kind of thing, or fall over in the wind. Most of their haunted settings are outside. Mine's in my own apartment now, so this is really cool. So I'm going back to the old school way of dolling up my apartment and and putting it into what you call Facebook shows and that. So I don't know what these dots are coming from, but anyhow, must be the Bermuda Triangle or something. And so yeah, so now my haunted house thing is actually indoors. So which is now actually authentically will be an actual what you call on Facebook. I don't go trick or treating. I'm too old for that. So anyhow, so what I do is for the first half, when we were living in the house on Brown and Frank Street here in Wyerton, even since when I was younger, I used to doll my front yard up for the trick-or-treaters when they came up to go trick-or-treating and that. Since now, because we're not in a house, we're not in a townhouse, it's I don't have to feed hydro wires outside. I get to save on that, and I can darken down my home and actually what you call decorate the front living room up in as like a haunted cabin theme, and which I'm doing this year and next year and probably years to come, and which is actually going to be live on Facebook shows, that kind of thing. So now it's an actual show, so it's on here. So it's so because we're on Halloween week, we're on with it being Halloween, it's going to be we're sitting at 7 days till Halloween, and that. So in honor of Halloween, I figured my camp experience for Camp Northern Lights and reopen and react out Hunter's Cabin, and would actually be a good fit haunted theme for Halloween night. And like I said, now everything is going to be actually projected into a video, so it's being projected into a video setting. So it's not it's not on a front yard theme, so like it normally would have been. Like it's actually being I'm projecting into a live video, and that. So again, Hunter's Cabin is going to reopen here, and the haunted fireplace is going to come on. Everything's is going to actually darken down, and it's going to be it's authentically going to be it's going to be a cool Halloween fit, and because Halloween night is coming, and and behind me, actually, if I move these little guys over a bit, we're going to. Okay, there you gotta. There, see, right here, again, you have my ghost, the Gypsy Rover, which example replicates me. And again, we have, which is behind me. And, again, over there you have the flashing strobe light session. In this actual Hunter's Cabin party, there is not. We're gonna try doing it without sound effects. We're gonna try doing it without. It'll be in a dead. It's gonna go back to. It's gonna go to a dead silence. Back to. Actually, it's gonna go into what you call. Going back the way of. The way it is going. Like the first set of the Dark Hunter's Cabin challenge, there was background sound effects. I threw in a bit of a Ghostbuster theme in that. This time around, there is we're back with the dummies again. They put them back out again. Not just for just for Halloween night, for Hunter's Cabin come back. For the party that nobody has ever made it to, according to the story. Any of our characters never made it to. Anyhow, and that. So, this way, but again, it's not going to be like the introduction party, and that this is going to actually authentically going to be old school Hunter's Cabin, the way it taking you into what the experience of the real Hunter's Cabin would have been like, where there was the totally dead silence and quietness of the night, and it will be, again, it'll be done in the dark. So this probably, to be advisable, may be a little spooky. I'll try not to make it too spooky, but again, Hunter's Cabin alone has that what you call carries that frightening title, and that even in the daytime, and that so it's going to be what you call an actual authentical tale with the Gypsy Rover with me, and that. May not be the actual story of Hunter's Cabin. It may be a different story be told in Hunter's Cabin. I gave you the outline of the story, of what the story was about of Hunter's Cabin. So authentically, it's going to give you that spooky feeling on what it'd be like if you were actually in the real Hunter's Cabin, where everything is like totally quiet, it's silent. And sometimes, usually when it's quiet, if this building has has an historical apparition, voices may be picked up on here, and that. I'm not talking about Hollywood actors popping in on live stream. That may happen too. We may get a live in between that night. We may be shocking. We may get a live interview with, if they decide to send me a guest request or invite guest. We might have somebody like Michael Myers or somebody, the actor, whatever, try to pop in, and that. So, just give you a little fright. Just to be prepared for that, because, like I said, this is Hunter's Cabin, and in the actual the actual Dark Hunter's Cabin challenge, since now they know it's reopening, these for Halloween night, because Halloween is a Michael Myers thing. It's the actual actor Michael Myers. He's famous for doing his Halloween movies. And so he may pop in on a Joker's on Duty theme of Hunter's Cabin. He may pop in here as a guest speaker halfway through. And Atreyu, get down, bud. Down. Come on, down. Dad, when Daddy's talking, you get down. And anyhow, or even Freddy Krueger may make an appearance on Jokers on Duty. We might get a live interview with them on here, and that like they may ring through and says please invite guest, and that so. They may pick up interest on this Hunter's Cabin thing because it is their time to spook, and that's what I said. The man himself, like I'm always a fan of their movies. Like I said, like I buy and watch them, or like I'm a fan of them. So they may pop in here as a live interview guest on Jokers on Duty. So during the Ghost Tale, it just to advise you, you may get totally spooked because the moment I start telling a horror story on here, they may ring through and we may get a live interview with them. We may not, because they'll pop in and they'll scare you on the most unexpected times. Like even if we get Chucky, he may even do the same thing. Or Linda Blair from Exorcist. There may be that Halloween fright, during the Hunter's Cabin haunted house. They may just pop in on this live stream and, spook you. So, be prepared for that. Just like I had yesterday, I loved the live interview guest with Michael Klotz, Michael Klotz of the MFers. But again, and also we could have real life vampire pop in here too. So on here. So anything, like I said, this is Hunter's Cabin reopening. So this story opens doors to any spooky villain. Any spooky villain can make an appearance on Jokers on Duty, and poof, they could pop in, one night after another, and during these streams, and during while the haunted thing is going on, they may sneak in to actually spook Jokers on Duty, just to spook it, and so any of you viewers, you may actually get spooked on here. Be prepared for that, because it is Halloween, Devil's Night, it's what you call a funny night to jump out and scare people, and that's what haunted houses is about. And by the way, Halloween night, Michael Klotz and our friend Paul in Guelph, he doesn't like to be called by his last name, so I respect that part of it. With Fog TV. Paranormal Hunters of Guelph are going through authentically ghost hunting, going on an authentical ghost hunt through a real live haunted house right here on Facebook, and live, and at their end in Guelph, and that, so to see if with video cameras, everything, they're going on an actual authentical ghost tracking thing. And that, so I'm preparing to one more time bring back Hunter's Cabin right here on Jokers on Duty, and for October 30th, October 31st, and those nights, like I said, be prepared because it is a haunted cabin. We've got Ian appearing again, which is one of the twin headless hunters, which was one of the twin native headless hunters, which was a witch from Hunter's Cabin, which I do play the part of Ian, by the way. Like I said, back those names just so people understand the characters, or the actual story was told historically. They had real first names like we did. We did not know ever what their last names. We're not talking about names, don't get offended, we're not talking about on here about actual names that really exist today. Yes, those are real names today, but some of the names you might hear on Jokers on Duty, also back 100 years ago, people had those real same names, and which was the characteristics of Hunter's Cabin. but I like six again. We didn't know what the characters looked like, so I'm using today's modern characters like these costume icons on here, because nobody really knows what these guys really looked like back then. Nobody can know, even historically, they can't tell you what they look like. But again, because this is a replicant to the story of Hunter's Cabin, I'm actually opening this haunted house up to special guests that may invite themselves in, like Michael Myers or whoever wants to pop in and give a big spook on Halloween night, and spook Jokers on duty. That's why I said this is Jokers on duty. Anything is possible on here. So be prepared, because something always jumps out at you, no matter if it's Christmas, Halloween, whatever. Again, we've got the if they're still around, they may pop in. Click the invite button, say, hey, cool, we're watching this, because I've got them on friends on Facebook, the real actors. We may maybe be even shocked, because we might even get some of the Star Wars actors actually coming in on here, which would be pretty cool, coming in as a guest speaker. Just send me an invite to invite them as guests, so we can actually sit and talk with them too. That is a possibility. We could get that too, if they choose to. We may actually get a special guest to a special actor from 1984 that starred in the 1984 film The Neverending Story, which is Noah Hathaway. If he chooses to send me an invite and become a guest on Jokers on Duty, like I was with Michael Klotz, he may pop in. Some of the which we like to call, same with MFers and Jokers on Duty. We see these celebrities and actors as what you call original MFers, because they're the real MFers, because they put a lot of time out of their everyday schedule. Even though that they have a good career, they got a good job, but on top of that, they service. They're pretty good at, and we thank them, because the movie industry, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a movie industry. We wouldn't have something that would sit back and entertain us. Or we wouldn't have the luxury to go out and buy a DVD. We wouldn't have the luxury to go out and buy Blu-rays or CDs to sit back and enjoy them. So, to watch them and listen to them and that, and or have the opportunity to grow up with them. Some countries, some kids never ever grew up with them. They don't know who they are. And like even this generation of kids that are born in this generation, they don't know who Atreyu is. They don't know who George Lucas is. They never grew up with that generation. They're starting to learn about that, and that they once did exist. Even if, like, some of the ones that are still alive today, I know they're still alive today, those particular actors. But the ones that are still around, a lot of kids are getting curious about what us adults who would have grown up within the 60s, 70s, 80s with those old movie stars. Like I said, Jokers on Duty, we could actually have interview pop-ins with them, which would be really, really cool on here. I would love to sit back here and be able to have a live interview with these guys. It would be really, really cool. They're on my list. Like, if they decide they're going to send me an invite, or maybe I have to send them an invite first to this live show, and that. But like Halloween, and plus, of course, there's Tiffany, Ray. We're talking about the Chucky dolls now here. We're not talking about real life people. We're talking about the actors. We're not talking about people I'm in, because just to let you know, these names are common names. Like back in the legendary days, if you look in the archives or whatever, even my name, before I was born, originates from the 1800s. There was a man that once lived that had the same name, and that was an historical legendary figure. But he was some Irish English dude that had the big bulky sideburns and mustache, and had the Charles Dickens type look, eh? But if you're looking at ancestries, so like back in those days, they had kids then, like back 100 years ago, like the time of Hunter's Cabin, the time of the Sleepy Hollow originally actually happening. Back in those decades or generations, or even back in the war days, they had regular names like we did today. You know that people would call their kids today or grandkids or whatever. It carries a generation. So authentically, like I said, we're not here to copy people. But if you look at the characteristics of it all, like even with the time of Hunter's Cabin, Ian and Ivan are original names today. There was kids in my generation born in the 80s by the name of Ian and Ivan. It's a common name, like I said. But see, they'd all have last names. Like they had last names back then too. But the ones for back then, the Ian and Ivan I'm talking about from Hunter's Cabin are the two headless apparitions that killed each other. They came back as ghosts and that kind of thing. And they were two twin native headless hunters, and then the one was a witch. But but back in those decades, they had the same names as we have today, that you may call your kids today. But back then they had those same names. Like those first names were common, but nobody ever knew what their last names were historically, right? So you're going back way back into history, and that kind of thing. Like I said, Halloween is quickly coming. It started out as a slow process. Now it's going quick. So I've kind of, from a story that was told to me as a kid, and a story that was becoming my story of Hunter's Cabin, because when I was at summer camp, I had problems with nightmares after that story was told to me. When Father Bill Maloney told me that story, I wasn't even Catholic as a kid, but it was opened through St. Vincent de Paul as a charitable camp that single parents could send their kids to, and my mom had paid me to send me off to that camp. Probably because she didn't want to get rid of me because it was a pain in the ass at home. So she wanted to ship me off for a week or 2 weeks. So, which was an enjoying experience, but also it was also a nightmare experience. And she's got to turn that down because that's overriding my thing. Stream here, because I don't want Facebook to think that is, sorry about the music, to think that is audio copying sounding. That's just my wife in another room playing a video game. Anyhow, like I said, again, like I said, like there's really nothing to worry about this story. Like it's not, it's not making fun of anybody. It's not a racist story. It is based on a true story that really happened, and this is a story I've carried with me for years. Like I said, like it did become my story. The Catholic priest first introduced it to me, and as a kid, which frightened me. And during that nightmare experience, I ended up seeing things in the woods myself on the Camp Northern Lights grounds, and I've heard noises, I've heard the voices. Like I came close with some of these in what you call encounters. Encountered them, and close encounters, and of these identities and apparitions. So they really do exist in the spiritual world. But like I said, today, like if this video had been taken on the real grounds, I think it would be different, because if I was filming at the real Hunter's Cabin in Halliburton, Bobcaygeon, at the real authentic Hunter's Cabin, you'd see things moving around in the background. You'd actually see, the cabin. You would actually really see the cabin, actually, the real fireplace come right on by itself. You'll see apparitions. You'll actually hear the voices, and it'll be way, 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 way more frightening than any haunted house ever could be. I mean, and you'd be seeing floating upside down motorboats on the lake, and that. So what I have done is taken my side of that story, and also putting when I went to Camp Northern Lights, they called him Father Bill. Put his story with my story, so I kind of added them together. So now I've outgrown the nightmares. I've overcome that. I have kind of put it into a reenactment, and bringing it to life for this Halloween, and maybe next year too. If this works out, like next year, like this year it was on a card game, Dark Hunter's Cabin card game flip. Next year, which those shows were done early. Now we're just gonna go into the haunted party of it. So anyhow, so that's why I'm bringing it back for Halloween one more time this year, and then next year it's conventically going to be added to, and it's going to haunt all the way through. So. Only thing I could not actually replicate on here, and I would have loved to, is the floating upside down motorboat. I mean, that I would have really loved to do, and that. So, and that. So, and. And that. So anyhow, that is the program for Devil's Night and Halloween Night. Also, Devil Nights on October 30th, according to history, was also detected as Black Halloween Night. We're not on here on Jokers on Dirty. We're not going to go out and pull pranks on people. Don't ever worry about that. We're not going to rip off some little old lady's flowers as much as we love to. That you will not see on here. That kind of thing, or do what they used to do in my generation, go egg doors. We don't do stuff like that on here. We don't allow that hanky panky to go on. This is just those nights are just being used to do a good tentacle haunting shows, and not on here haunted house type shows. Since now I've got the extra time space on here and that kind of thing. And especially I've been playing with some of the magic wand down here, and wizard wand, and with the little Assassin's Creed costumes and everything and that, and I decided to add that into Hunter's Cabin story too, characters. So so authentically, I'm making it more enjoyable, more better to watch. Fortunately, it does because it's an icon. Yeah, you're going to see these Star Wars little thingy up in the corner. You can't block that out, and because those icons were actually authorized on here for live stream video users, and that, and there's a lot of them on here coming through. So I figured, well, if they're on my live stream, I'm going to use those icons. And that, so to make things more interesting. So, and that, like the one dude on here says it invited everybody in, quote, whole cycle into the party, and invited himself. He said, we like to change our names a lot on here. No, not realistically. And that, but as it's like I said, this is a joke setup show. So, we like to, we like to put a smile on people's faces. We like to make it enjoyable. We do not ever want it ruined. We want it to be respected. Just like, we do respect other people's streams, other people's Facebooks. Yeah, a lot of Christian people don't like this type of thing, But again, like I said, if you're just on here to ruin stuff for people, we want you off. We're not saying that in a negative way, because, like I said, not everybody's on here is religious. Not everybody goes to church. Nobody believes in that kind of thing. Facebook is not for to come through and start preaching at people or trying to convert people to Christianity. This is not what this is about. You do have real live movie actors on here that will post their work, celebrities, rappers, country singers, that kind of thing. They don't wanna sit here, and they don't want you constantly dinging through with get saved by Jesus Christ and that kind of thing. People don't want that kind of thing on Facebook. It's not the fact that they don't believe in it. It's not the fact that they have really an issue with it. They do have an issue with it. They do have an issue when you make it an issue. It's people just don't like religion. They hate it. Just again keeping that under respect. Like, if you're going to be on Facebook, you need to respect other streamers. You can't come on here and start trying to control us and saying, because let's say if there's Halloween activities going on live Facebook stream, because you Christians don't like it, you can sit there and make anonymous false complaints to Facebook. No, like this stuff ain't gonna happen. That's being disrespectful towards us. Like, we're not doing anything towards you. You don't need to be doing anything towards us. We're not doing anything wrong. We're not here to harm people. You know what I mean? And we're just making our Halloween festivity fun on here. It's the way we celebrate Halloween now, because technology is so high. Now because we're coming on to Facebook. We have as much right on here as like everybody else. Like a lot of Christian churches think that they're the only ones that should be allowed on Facebook and nobody else. They're what we like to call Facebook hogs, and because they get on here and they authentically get controlling, and they start posting Jesus pictures all over the place. Not that we're against the guy or have disbelief in the guy. It's just upsetting to a lot of people because, like I said, now you live in a generation where you have multicultural people on Facebook. I'm born and raised Canadian citizen, but you have you have every nation on here. You have every you have people worldwide on here now. You have different countries now that once didn't have internet and now has internet. Like I said again, like you have mixed culture people on here, and some of them, yes, may actually come from a religious persuasion, but most of them may not. You've got atheists on here. Like my own brother-in-law is married to my older sister. He's an atheist, and he's on Facebook, and he uses Facebook live streams. It's and that, and so does my older sister, and so again, you've got people coming from different backgrounds on here now. So I mean, and they need to be respected, and that kind of thing. And like some of us, we're like us horror movie fans. Like we share our old camp stories, like I'm doing. We share, we're so proud of our movie industry. Authentically, we're not on here to copy them. We're actually just, because we're fans of them and we love them, and we're great because of all the time they put out for that hard work to do that they don't have to do. But that's the way they choose their lifestyle, to entertain us. and that kind of thing. And no, I'm not singing the Peter Pan song, by the way. But again, this is because, like I said, because Christianity hates what we may support or may love watching. I mean, that is, you don't get on there and start getting with the thumbs and start going into a stupid report center and start making anonymous false complaints that are not true. Because some of us other streamers can legally actually charge you for that, and that kind of thing. And that is a form of harassment. That is a form of blackmailing, and we don't put up with that, and that kind of thing. You have actual professional celebrities like Prada West. He does live concerts on here, that kind of thing, and we have service clubs like I belong to Optimist Rotary. Sometimes when we have our events come up, we're going to live stream those. As much as we respect your Christian beliefs in that, we're just saying we do not want your Jesus Christ pictures on here because of the fact that it bothers other streamers. It does bother other Facebook. I have to be honest. It does bother other Facebook users because they don't. Not everybody goes to church on here. Not everybody believes in that stuff. I did do a Jokers on Duty just for you, to be in honor of you, because you whined and complained that there's all these streamers, but yet you never include anything. And then when somebody does nice enough to invite you to and try to honor you, you backstab them. And this is why we stopped doing that. So, you still got on. You still had to make an issue out of it. So that's why we said, well, we're under respect. We said we're going to leave. We're going to leave that kind of department alone from now on. But also too, just advise you, that we're not saying you can't live stream your church congregation and that kind of thing, which I do see you guys do, but also be advised that when it starts dinging through other people's Facebooks, some of these other Facebookers are not religious. They're going to have a problem with you, and you're going to create an issue with them on that one, because you may not like Halloween festivities, but we're into Halloween on here. If you actually understand your own history, if you read your own Christian history, you guys started Halloween centuries ago. If you looked at a Celtic calendar, you read your history, it was started by the Christian church. So I don't know how all of a sudden you guys can turn around and start something and bring traditions over here, and then bitch about it. Sorry for putting about that, but something you started, and that you brought over, and you introduced, a pagan ritual that you guys started, and that for decades. I do my homework. I did take history in high school. You'd be surprised what I know about you, and that. But so again, that's what I said. And that, if you want to post your ads or whatever, that's fine. But you can always lock your ads down. Don't forcibly put it through publicly, because if you put it through publicly, like when it comes down to very offensive Bible scriptures and that kind of thing, some of them I've seen were not too bad, I can grant that, but then you're getting into ones where you're pushing when you start pushing the book of Revelations, that's where we're going to stop you right there, because a lot of churches now are told by the law they're not allowed to actually teach or preach on the Book of Revelations. They're allowed to teach the Bible, yes, but there's to be a cutoff point. When they get to the Book of Revelations, they've got to quit. They got to go back to the beginning of the Bible. They're not allowed to speak on the Book of Revelations or enforce that or push that on people, because the Book of Revelations, what it actually talks about, is authentically talking. It is actually a war threat, and can be a threat to national security, our Canadian national security, armor guards and everything, and that kind of thing. Because the fact it is based, of course, because the fact you are based on religion. So do keep that in mind. You know, and that, so like in that, so that kind of thing. Basically, like that kind of thing. I don't even go, like, I won't even allow Bible study on my shows. Like, you know, I'm not trying to be mean or disrespectful, but I don't allow Bible studies on here. I won't bring on a minister, or I won't bring on a priest to do Bible studies on here, because authentically, you know, it's I feel it's not right. Because yes, when I grew up in a church setting. I was always taught not to push my beliefs, which I never ever do. I never done, ever, because it upsets people. Also, too, you have to be careful, too, because of politics on here can upset people, too. But the only thing is, I can understand that people do have those streams for those that are into that and that kind of thing. And that, so, like, I mean, like, that, like, and that, so, you know, it's, like I said, Facebook, a lot of live streamers, like, now with stuff like Halloween coming up with haunted houses, live streamers are going to live stream that is normal. Christmas parties, people are going to live stream those, because those are keepable events, more so. Like if you have like a Christmas Eve, like again, like if the churches, like, that's different. I understand you have Christmas pageants for your kids; those are fine to stream. But every day pushing the Bible on people on here, coming on Facebook, you know, actually pushing your beliefs on people, or your beliefs in God or Christ on people, it's upsetting people, and that kind of thing on here. And they don't want to see a single Jesus ad coming through their Facebook, because when you push it on your Facebook, no matter if they're on your friends list or not, it automatically floats through everybody else's, and we're getting sick of seeing it. That's all we're saying. You know, we're not saying that we're disbelieving in it. We're just saying we don't want it on here. You know, and that. But again, but like, see, Halloween time is basically our time to do our ghost stories, to do, like, see, our ghost stories, and that is not connected to a religious belief. Just to advise you of that. It is you know, just sharing my camp experiences, you know, sharing what I went through, that kind of thing that I overcame, and on that kind of stuff. But again, you know, Halloween time, people are gonna live stream their haunted houses and that kind of thing. That they're gonna take you live through, and that, and like I'm doing up my living room too. And blessed, dude, really think about it. Does movie stars really want to sit there and watch some fanatical circus church going person, Pentecostal jumpity, you know, praying in tongues, you know, rolling all over the floor type idiots? No. Like, there's enough idiots on Facebook as is. We got jokers on it's idiotic enough. But like my cat Atreyu, like he's jumping after a fly. Like, I mean, and like it's like I said, it's good to have a sense of humor, but I mean, I think that's going way overboard. I mean, it's and that, but you know, like, I'm not in any way not trying to disrespect the churches or any way. You know, I'm not saying I don't don't believe in what you stand for. I'm just saying is now, because everything's on Facebook now. There are mixed people on Facebook, and that's so, especially in our Canadian population, American population. You've got different cultures, you've got different nationalities. Not all of them are religious. Not all of them believe in what you believe in. It's this is what you have to respect if you're going to be like, if you're going to have a Facebook account. You do have to have the understanding that not everybody is religious or wants to be religious. People don't want to be converted. They don't want religion crammed down their throats. That kind of thing. They want fun stuff on here. Like yes, they understand. Everybody celebrates Christmas. That is normal. That is as close as being religious as they're ever going to get in everyday world society today. And that other than it, all year round, they don't have a care for it. And technically, it's garbage. It goes out with the trash, and that. So, they'll celebrate Easter, they'll celebrate Christmas, but that's where they leave it. That's where most people actually leave it. Because they'll celebrate Christmas in their own way or a different way. They feel comfortable in celebrating it. But it's not something they're going to get into all year round. 365 days a year. And on top of that, like I said, Joker's on duty. We're essentially gonna go into Hunter's Cabin. We're gonna bring it back for this year for one more show, because everybody enjoyed the Dark Hunter's Cabin challenge. Just let you know, no, I'm not. None of this is connected to a cult, by the way. Some people are actually honestly involved in cults. Just so to settle the rumors with that, this is not really connected to authentic cult. Might have been at one time, yes, when the story actually did happen in the time of the actual years of the actual historically Hunter's Cabin took place on the grounds of Camp Northern Lights before it became Camp Northern Lights. Before a kids' camp was ever built on there. At one time, honestly, there was cult activity. Occult, some type of satanic ritual, religious rituals went on, and that kind of thing. But again, I have replicated from that. Like, if you go to the real Camp Northern Lights in Bob Cage and Halliburton, the grounds have been suspectedly detected of being an actual haunting. So far, sounds and voices were just picked up. Like I said, there was nothing authentically caught on aberrations caught on the tapes yet, because back then the tapes weren't strong enough to pick up on that. Okay, something's moving. I heard a noise. Now I'm sitting here talking. And it was so quiet, and something's going, and the cat's over there sleeping, and then all of a sudden I hear something twitching. Huh. That's weird. Man, Hunter's Cabin's freaking me out already. And we're only 7 days away to Halloween. So that's a good sign. Man, that's my chair. Oh well. Anyhow, so off the religious topic end of it. So anyways, again, we're going to go into, we're going to have a fun night of, Hunter's Cabin going to come around one more time for this Halloween, and then next Halloween we're going to haunt all the way, it's going to haunt all the way through. And again, MF is actually going to join Paul on that journey with Fog TV. Which is going to go through an authentic haunted house in Guelph on an actual ghost hunt, and that. And while the little kiddies are out trick or treating, Joker's on Duty is for Devil's Night, which is Black Halloween night, and Halloween night, Hunter's Cabin is actually going to darken down, and it's going to be open again, and for one last time this year, and this is going to be the Hunter's Cabin party that the characters never made it to, and again, because we got that extra time frame, and we got time to do Halloween. I didn't think I would actually have time, because we were almost getting ready to go right start our Christmas shows too early, and then my wife says, no, Halloween's coming. Bring back Hunter's Cabin one more time because a lot of people are liking it, and I said okay. So I reset up some of the dummies. Like I said, like my stuffed corpse dummy, the hand stuff. There's no room for him unless somehow. Because people come in, sometimes people come in, they want to sit down on the couch, and if I got a dummy on the couch, they're sitting on my dummy, and, the sweat and the fart or whatever on my dummy, and they stink them out. So, and that, so for me, like I said, I am going also to, before I get too heavy into Hunter's Cabin, starts making its way, I am going to plan a trip to Tim Hortons on Halloween night. Again, you may see me now and then. Like sometimes I go out, check my mail. You might see me out, checking my mail or whatever. Or you'll see me go up towards Tim Hortons for coffee, and that. Just to let you know. If you do have any if you want to know more about what Joker's on Duty is, feel free to ask me questions. Even if you live in Wyerton, you see me up at Tim Hortons or whatever. If you are liking it, if you are following and liking it, you've got questions about it or how it started or whatever. You can interview me or whatever. That's fine. I don't have issues with that and that. And like I said, it does. Joker's on Duty itself is not a money-making thing, so nobody's making money off of it. It's a hobby of mine. Like I said, when I started Joker's Corner, and then I went in from that, and I started the Joker's on Duty, and that kind of thing, in 2010. So kind of I'm slowly creating up a set of shows. So, and that's why I was glad some of the Facebook put these icons on here, and because I would get a kick out of them, and that, and and also too, the Ian may appear again in human form, which I do play Ian. Of the character of Ian from Hunter's Cabin. Like again, to advise you that those names were real back then too. Like they had the same names as we do today. But when I say Ian and Ivan, I'm not talking about anybody by the name of Ian and Ivan today. Just let you know that I'm talking about a historical character that once lived, that actually did kill himself, killed his brother, and his brother came back and killed him, chopped their heads off or whatever. That went on in that story. So, like I said, everything's been everything from the real cabin has been re-replicated. Because historically, to actually do this at the real cabin, I think my wife would probably be having real nightmares and everything. She wouldn't be able to stay in the cabin or this long to do these shows. Or even my Challenger, if I had to come down to the real cabin, he wouldn't even last a night. He couldn't even last a night in my front living room. And it's only a replicant. So it goes to show you how frightening Hunter's Cabin is. So the haunting end of it, it's it's going to happen because with it being Halloween. We got to have some fun with it and that kind of thing. And by the way, if you like my Ghost and my Gypsy Rover there, before people comment from the peanut gallery in my family, yes, it does resemble a lookalike of me, yes. And we did establish that one because that's the idea of it. Is he's supposed to be me, Then we got, like I said, then we got Pringles Pete, and we got Dead Man Hunter Bob over here, and we got some Ghostbuster dude over here that lost his head, trying to take out Ian and Ivan, and the last in the Dark Hunter's Cabin challenge in the last round, and that, and I got my crystal ball ready to light up. Yeah, crystal ball. Like in glass crystal. We're not talking about the name crystal. There's a difference. So that way, you're getting all the replicants right, or we're getting all the all the characters right. That's why I said the one replicant I decided not to put out because it'll be way overpowering everything, and that. But if by any chance any of the horror movie actors decide they're gonna, been following these streams, they come in and pop in to say hello, or during the haunted house, it's a free invite. They're allowed to. Some may actually spook. Now they may spook you on live stream. Now they may come through live stream with a visitation like Mike did. Or they may actually pop in they may actually pop in to the actual may actually either by phone call or scare the heck out of you by the telephone call, or come through live stream. Please, because my live stream is done on my cell phone, I ask you, if you're gonna kind of visit my live stream, do not FaceTime me or use the actual Facebook video chat, because I'm on Facebook live stream. Try to come through the live stream as possible if you're going to come through the cell phone, or phone my baseline, my house baseline. That way it doesn't disrupt my video stream if I'm on a live video stream. So that way, the video, my live stream videos can go straight through with any interruptions at all, and that kind of thing. So anyhow, like I said, we're still sitting at what we call 7 days until Halloween, and tomorrow will be 6. I hate that word. Why does the 6 always? It's an unlucky number. It's like 13. It's always unlucky. We always get the 6. It was 1-6, people. Not 666, because if you're saying it's 66 more days to Halloween, you're saying that 600 or 6,066 more days left to wait. I don't think anybody can handle that, because they're so excited about Halloween coming this close as is. They don't want to extend it for another 666 days. That'd be just me. So that'd be really, really, really cool if if we do get any of those actors that will pop in and say hello or whatever, and check out Jokers on Duty, and live interview with me, and that's up to them. But the invite is there, like Michael Klotz did, and that way you have a live session with them too. Because, like I said, it is Halloween, and I have to give them some type of an invite here, and that kind of thing. Like I said, with me being an actual horror movie fan, so like I said, like Jokers on Duty is not ever here to copy anybody. A lot of people get thinking that way, but no, it's not. It is basically just a fun show. It's a setup show. It's a joke show. It's just it's like a hobby for me. So, I'm taking all my old childhood experiences and putting it in. Now I can put it into a live video stream, or I put it into a video of some kind. So it's a good memory that's ever left behind. So, it's that way my family can sit there and say, oh, he achieved something in life, finally, or they can say, he's running his own television shows, on Facebook, that kind of thing. So, but personally, if I honestly knew how to stream these Jokers on Duty videos to Netflix, I probably would do it. In the documentary section, though. And but I would not know how to do that. To be honest with you, I wouldn't know. I don't even know how people do that, but they do. That kind of thing, to get Netflix to pick up on them. But I can't. Like from these Facebook Live videos, I don't even know how to put them on YouTube. Or I love to put them up on YouTube. That kind of thing. I'm just used to doing it with the regular camera into the phone and then up to YouTube. But this other way with live stream, I don't even know how to do them that way. Or I would have loved to have done that, but yeah. So that would be good, and so I'm looking forward to if we do ever experience that. That'd be great. We may not, we may not get those interviews with those actors. We may not. It'd be nice. Jokers on Duty does get them on here as guest speakers, coming through live stream windows, that kind of thing. That'd be really cool. That'd be actually with Halloween, especially with Linda Blair. That'd actually be an actual fright, because she was always big with with The Exorcist when she was a child, when she played in all the Exorcist movies. Where she played Captain Howdy, or whatever that dude was supposed to be, that evil dude that jumped into her, and that kind of thing, and she was possessed by. That I have her movie on that too. That freaked me out. I literally wet my bed sheets on that one, and that's why I said those horror movies. If you're gonna watch, if you're watching, planning, and you're old enough, you're planning on watching your very first horror movie. Suggestion is, do not watch them at night or in the dark. If you're just getting introduced to horror movies or you're just getting used to it, your best bet is to watch them during the day. That way, they don't have effect on you. And if you do start watching them at night, after you watch a set of horror movies, the smartest thing that I do is break it off with a cartoon. So when you're done watching your horror movies, pop on a cartoon for a couple hours. That way, some funny cartoon or comedy show. That way, it'll actually break your nightmare channel. So, because your body produces energy. So, if you're jolted and scared because of the horror movie, because it's frightening you, you're letting off a lot of energy. So by actually putting on a cartoon afterwards, you cut that energy channel off. So what happens is it actually breaks that nightmare and that you're about to have during the night. Because if you don't do that, then at night you can experience night tremors, very bad night tremors. And the only way you can prevent that from happening is break it off with a cartoon, break it off with comedy, right after you're done watching the horror movies. That way it doesn't affect you during the night hours, that kind of thing. So there's some good advice there, and that. So because that's the trick I've learned how to do it. That's how I'm able to now. I've got over my nightmares end of it after that Hunter's Cabin story was told to me as a little kid at summer camp, and then when I got introduced to horror movies, I learned a trick to overcome those nightmares. So now I can watch horror movies so the nightmares don't come back. What I do is if I'm done watching a set of horror movies, you'll notice I'll put on some type of comedy, or I'll put on a cartoon that automatically will disconnect that nightmare channel from your mind replaying that horror movie during the night. So that way you can have a peaceful night's sleep, that kind of thing. So like I break it off with the Smurfs, or I break it off with the Secret of NIMH or something, some kitty cartoons. Even though I'm too old to watch kitty cartoons, that's why I watch cartoons. It's because I've watched 6 hours of horror movies before. So I'm breaking it off with a children's cartoon. So that way what I'm doing is I'm breaking the nightmare channel off. So that way when I sleep, I can have an actual comfortable night's sleep. So my mind won't remember that, won't flash back that horror movie. So and it keep me up all night. So there is a trick to that. And Viajet, and if you are watching a horror movie, I'll tell you now, do not watch anything like Ghostbusters, because that does not help. After watching a horror movie, because that Ghostbusters is not going to break that Nightmare Channel. It's just going to make it worse. What you want to do is you want to watch, to break that Nightmare Channel, is go authentically, go a kid's cartoon, or go an actual funny comedy, after those horror movies before you go to bed. That way it breaks the, so the laughter breaks down the nightmare and that kind of thing. And it does work. And that kind of thing, because I tried that. That's how I overcame my nightmares. So now I can sit back, I can watch horror movies, I can tell ghost stories, but at the end of it all, I can sit back and watch a kid's cartoon, and to break those nightmare channels, and so it doesn't affect me during the night, and so it always keeps you a positive mind all the time. So that's what we got lined up. And again, I will be taping again the Byerton Santa Claus Parade from my window. I'll be live streaming that when that makes its way down Burford Street in December. And then we've got Christmas Eve. We've got New Year's Eve, where there's going to be a New Year's countdown and that kind of thing. I was going to do it the Optimist way, but I don't know if I don't think I would have permission to do that, even though I do belong to the service club. So we're going to leave the Optimist way of it out. We're just going to do the good old, we're going to do it a different way. I'm going to do the New Year's countdown in a totally different way, totally different than when anybody else has ever done it. Like Jokers on Duty we have our own way of doing things, on our own way of counting down, and that for that kind of thing. As much as I want to get into it soon as possible, probably for the Christmas shows, starting in November, once all the Halloween stuff is put away, cleaned up, Christmas stuff is going to come out. And I've got to set up for Monopoly, and so we're going to start a round of that, and which is going to be quite cool, because I'm just going to have to figure out how I'm going to set my table up, so I can visualize the camera on the Monopoly board. So you can actually see the actual round of Monopoly, going around in circles here, and that way you get a live, you get actually a live video footage of the actual Monopoly board, with the actual Monopoly money. No, like same with the Dark Hunter's Cabin Challenge card game. We didn't play with real money, so. And because nobody was here actually laying down real money, it's really not considered gambling. And that it's only gambling if there is money, if there's real money being played, and that kind of thing. Then you can count. Then you can label that. And that. So like I said, the Hunter's Cabin, Dark Hunter's Cabin Challenge. Like I said, a card game, was used a Yahtzee container from the Yahtzee game, and the Yahtzee and Monopoly bases. We'll show you that again. Because here, here you've got the two black dice, right? See, if you can see that. See, there's one black dice right there. That's what put Mr. Bell on the Dark Hunter's Cabin Challenge when he played the Jack of Spades and the Queen of Hearts. Then the smart players, they had the red dice, on the ones when I played the red dice. See, there's the red Monopoly dice. There's the other black dice. The smart ones played on the red dice, and that. So, and the outrun, and one actually, one actually defeated the game. It was done in the white and red, and that was on the King of Diamonds. But yeah, see, so if you look there, there's the white dice, and there's another white dice. So you've got the two white dices. Again, you have the two black dices, which is the Yahtzee dices, and these here are your Monopoly dices. See, one white, one right, two white dices, and your Monopoly dice. So, and Yahtzee container, see, and that. So again, and that too was also making the sound of the horseshoes too with my foot, and in the last videos, and that kind of thing. So I mean, that's why I said next year. It is going into, when Hunter's Cabin comes back around again next year. It's going to be a full haunted house shows. So. Which I'm looking forward to, because a lot of it's going to be added to over time, and that kind of thing. So hopefully I'll get some nicer cloths, more spookier cloths to bring it out more in some sections. Like the brown, like a kind of, if you notice, I've condensed everything into a brown setting, and you'll probably notice too, for props, I do use, if you noticed, I used a microphone headset. I do actually have a microphone. They're not really on. And again, we're not copying anybody. It's your own thing. We're not singing, since we're not singing karaoke on it. Excuse me. The other set, I'm going to get a new headset, by the way. I'm going to... People popping in, go away. In my email, anyways. So, anyhow, there's the headset. I'm going to get into one of those ones. I'll probably get an Unethical Game one. That kind of thing. And I am going to show you what's going to be used Halloween night. Again, I've got an actual microphone. That's going to be a prop. See? This is your Joker's on duty. And basically, this is a prop that man, she's heavy. The stereo isn't going to be on, by the way. When I do the ghost stories, there will be no oversound riding. This time around, I'm going to try to get it authentically quiet. So it's going to take you into the old. I'm going to take you into the part of Hunter's Cabin on how it would actually be experienced in those times. Only thing that's new to it is the microphone. They didn't have microphones back then because there was no such thing as electronics. They didn't even have hydro. All they had was light from the fireplace to keep them warm, and that. And their lamps, hydro consisted of lighting candles. Because we're in an apartment building, we can't actually light real candles. We're not allowed to. But we just have to authentically watch them. But and plus, my Eternal candles that run by battery, they're unoperatable because they're broken. They're garbage. I gotta get a new set, and I've got to get batteries for my lights, skull lights. The orange lights are working. One set isn't working. I'm just working with two sets. My third set for some reason not working, and you'll see those in the background. So when the story is being told, it is going to be told through the microphone. Again, the microphone is not going to be on. It's not even plugged in because I changed the cord from the back of the plug-in cord from the stereo to the actual flashing crystal ball and that kind of thing. So this time around, there is not going to be any background sound effects. And that because there were sound effects in the Dark Hunter's Cabin challenge, this part of it is going to be authentically a dead silence quiet. And when it's when I take you back into an authentical part of Hunter's Cabin, when it authentically goes quiet to a dead silence quiet, that's when a story is being told. That's, if you listen closely to the live stream, you're going to hear actual voices in the background. You may or may not. You may, like I said, we may get pop-ins by horror movie actors, whatever. Like, they're invited to come in and talk if they want to. They don't have to. Like, again, they don't have to. They don't want to. That's up to them. If they want to come in and send me a guest invite, say they want to be a guest on Jokers on Duty, they're welcome to. Same with the Never Ending Story cast members. If they want to come in and get to know Jokers on Duty, and that they can come in and interview with me and chat. That they're up to. If they want to, they can. They don't have to, because I know they got a busy, rich lifestyle, and that we don't want to really take them away from that. We can understand they're busy in the movie industry and that, trying to get movies out and that kind of thing, and that. So we'll and if they want to come in, talk like Mike did, but they probably won't. They probably will, probably won't. It doesn't bother me if they don't. Like, they're on my list anyways, on my friends list. So and that. But same with some of the Star Wars actors that are still around, if they want to come in, that kind of thing. Have a talk, come in on a live session. Sometimes they'll come right through on here during when you least expect, especially when you're doing a haunted do on here. That's when they're going to pop in. Especially mainly the horror movie actors are going to pop in because they like that kind of thing. It's really cool, and that kind of thing. The haunted fireplace going and that with everything lit up. Again, I don't know how I'm going to do this because for this to work, I need 100% quietness in here because I can't be hearing. Not to be mean or anything, I cannot be hearing my wife's TV this loud through the door. When it comes to Halloween and that kind of thing, like same with Devil's Night, Halloween night, it is. Especially if you're running in some type of haunted house and you're doing it in the dead silence instead of the sound effects. If I was doing the sound effects, I wouldn't mind, but because this time around I'm not doing sound effects, I'm taking it traditionally back into the authentical Hunter's Cabin. So on what the dark experience of it would have actually be like, that kind of thing. And I'm sorry, but this background sound just ruins everything. And that, so, I mean, it's, and that, so, like, this time around, I was hoping to have it totally quiet those nights. That way, if there, like, even this building I live in, if it actually has identity to it, or a historical, and that, we can, something's going to bound to speak into it. And I can't hear that over people playing video games in the background and that kind of thing, and taking over my home, and that kind of thing. So it makes things more complicated. So, I mean, it's and that. So, again, microphone will not be on because of high-pitched squeals. Every time I do Jokers on Duty, my microphones are never plugged. They're never plugged in. Well, this one is, but the machine part is not plugged in. The headset, again, is was never plugged in to begin with. The cords ran down the left side of my left leg of my trousers, and into my sock and shoe, and that. So this is because the live stream and video cameras already automatically have a built-in microphone. You don't really need to have to plug the microphones in because of the high-pitched squeal. And so anyhow, so yeah, so I'm not just to let you know, no, I am not singing on here. This is actually going to be, I'm not preaching either, by the way, so don't think that. This is just going to be a big Halloween, this prop for Halloween night for Hunter's Cabin, which is an added-in prop, for the story end of it, which is actually going to be coming from me, and the haunted fireplace will be going, and then you may, like I said again, Ian may appear too, which, like I said, I act out Ian, from the story of Hunter's Cabin. You've probably seen that in one of my videos. And that, so, same with these guests that's invited themselves. That was me. That was me, playing with the costume icons on here. Just to let you know, just make it more enjoyable and entertaining. And that, I still don't know what these dots are doing on here. Like, so it looks like somebody blew their nose or something. But yeah, and that, and I hope everybody's available to view. But I think everybody, come Halloween night, everybody's going to be viewing the big haunted thing in Guelph, and that. I may view that. I may get a chance to view that live, but if not, I will. I know Mike, he'll post it on his wall anyways, and I can watch it later on. There's not an issue there if I miss that. I even if I don't get to it live to watch it live, I'll just probably pick it up later on, that kind of thing. Because it's Halloween night, everybody's off doing different things, that kind of thing, and like I said, there's parties going on here, there's parties going on there, there's always something going on, and that kind of thing. So, like I said, this is your Halloween costume countdown social. Even though we are close to Halloween, it is Halloween week. So technically, we're 7 days until Halloween. Technically, we can actually technically now we can say Happy Halloween. So, I mean, because we're on that countdown week. So, and that. So, and that. So, anyhow, see, that's just that's why I'm not into actually live streaming churches, because they're very hard to live stream, because especially here in Canada, churches get very hypocritical. Yeah, it is their property, it's their choice if they want to allow you to live stream it or not. They don't have to allow you to. It is their property. We do understand that. But they're never polite about it, though. If you ask that, you ask in a polite way, yeah, you are asking. All they can say is yes or no. Usually, 10 to 1, their no's are but the way they are is they've got too much of an attitude behind them, which is not a very Christ-like attitude. It is very rude. It is very arrogant, very mouthy and hypocritical, and at least they can actually be polite to people about it. They don't have to be like, act like they're freaking Jesus Christ or they're God, which they do, and that kind of thing. Like, especially, I've noticed that too here with the Salvation Army. They're a rude bunch. or can be. They're never, if you go to ask them a question about anything, they're very rude to you. They're very impolite. They're all full of negativity too much. You know, you don't even, I'm sorry, but I don't even see Christ in them at all. I think, me personally, I think that is just a put on. You know, because they go to church, they act like all, you know, all holy and mighty, and they, you know, they're telling people they can't do this, they can't do that, but yet they're doing it themselves. Like, honestly, even here in Wyerton, I go to the Legion to have karaoke or to have a couple beers. I see 90% of the Salvation Army soldiers that are uniformed soldiers lined up at the friggin' bar. Sorry to put it that way. I actually do see them at the bar, you know, diving into the beer. And they represent the Salvation Army, and they wear a uniform that where they swore an oath they're supposed to abstain from that, or tobacco, or gambling, or whatever. But yet they're the ones that are all out doing it. And that, but they put everybody else in their place for doing it. So, I mean, you know, it's like even, I'm sorry to say, like even one of their Sunday school teachers, I see she's supposed to be a Sunday school teacher, supposed to be teaching kids right from wrong or whatever, running an actual Sunday school. Every Friday night, like some Friday nights, if I go into the bar, oh, she's in the bar drinking, or she's out smoking dope, or she's doing something, you know, stupid. And you know that, I'm sorry, but for somebody who you know, is representing these places, or representing these churches, or representing that type of service uniform, you know, especially with it being the Salvation Army, and they've taken an oath saying, you know, they have to abstain from doing this, doing that, but yet they're out doing it. You know, it's, everybody sees that. You can't help seeing that. So, I mean, and especially in a small town, it's like, you know, they know where you go to, where you went to school. They know, you know, where you go to church. They know who you hang out with, that kind of thing. You know, and like I said, I'm not going to mention names on that because I'm not allowed to. But I know who they are, and it is. I'm sorry, but it makes the Salvation Army look bad. You know, because they have all these what you call constitutional laws, and that they're supposed to be following if they're going to wear the Salvation Army uniform, but yet 90% of their members aren't following that and don't follow that, and so technically by wearing that uniform they're confessing a big lie. I can honestly say that. Not to judge them or put them down in any way. I'm just saying this in a polite way. You know, it's just not making the place look good here. That kind of thing, and that. So, and plus, I've had people come up to me too, anonymously, and I can't do anything about it. Like I've told them, I said I can't do anything about it. I had not, to be honest. I've had some people, you know, that go to their soup kitchen program come up to me and on their own, out of their own mouths, say negative things about them, and going on about them, and have complained about them. And you know, I've honestly said, well, you know, I understand what you're going through, but I don't know how I can help you because the fact I'm not a member of that church. You know, I can't really help you because I don't know how I can help you because authentically you shouldn't really be coming to me about anything that you have with that kind of issue with those in that area. You know, because you know, don't, like I've said, please don't involve me on that end of it anyways, because there's nothing I can really do for you. You know, it's you know, that's something you have to deal with on your own. You have to find the right people to deal with to help you deal with that. Like I told him, I said, even if you have to deal with their top people in London, I said, if you got to go that route, you know, you have to go that route. But if I could help you, I could, but I can't. I'm the wrong person to help you when it comes down to a powerful religious movement, and that. So, so I told him. I said, again, I'm not going to mention any names, but because I'm not allowed to. But I did tell the guy. I said, well, if you need that kind of help, I said you need to go above their. You need to talk to their head authority, which is their headquarters in their divisional headquarters in London, and talk to somebody there to help you, because that's who runs that outfit. They're the boss over that outfit. I'm nothing to them. I don't. I'm not their head authority, so like I said, I'm the wrong person for you to keep coming to, because there's nothing really for me to do. I can't help you in that. I'm just I just told him, I just kind of directed him the right path to go, and with that, but again, like I said, it's like I said again, I have nothing to do. I have nothing against the churches, but there is it's the manipulation end of it that I don't really care for. I don't have the time of day for, and I think people should be able to choose what they want in life. I don't think that no organization or agency should be able to choose for people or dictate on how their life should go. I think that is wrong. I've always grown up making my own choices. Even if my choices end up being mistakes, then I have to deal with my own mistakes. That's what I was always taught. But so like I said, Hunter's Cabin is coming around again. It is. It's gonna be Monday night, 30th night, the 31st. Like I said, occasionally I go. I go like I said. I go to the Legion to have a good time. Sometimes for karaoke nights. I see this dude come in and he goes on about that. Like I said, I'm here to enjoy myself. I'm here to relax. I'm here to sing some karaoke. You go fly a kite somewhere. And not to be rude, because I don't come. Like I said, I don't come in here to listen to this propaganda. I come here as a bar customer to enjoy myself, to enjoy my night, to enjoy the party of the karaoke, and actually enjoy meeting other people. I'm not there to be religiously pushed on. If you want to put it that way. With women, they'll say hit on, but I'm saying religiously pushed on. That's why I used to honestly go and support the soup. I used to volunteer at the soup kitchen and that kind of thing and help out with it. And I stopped helping out with it because this guy comes up and he goes on about the actual captains and ministers of that church, and he's mouthing off in front of them. And like I said, I don't get into this kind of stuff. I don't come here to listen to this. And it totally turned me right away. Like I said, like when I grew up in Peterborough, I've never had any of these problems with any of the churches down there. I thought they were great. They were more understanding, they were more outgoing. But when I came to Wyerton and I seen what the churches are like here in Wyerton, again, they're just so full of negativity here, the backbiting, the backstabbing. They're not as polite as they are in other places, and they're, like I said, they're rude, they're hypocritical, they're very arrogant here. This is why when I'm living here, I won't go to any church here. I won't have nothing to do with it. I won't support it. That I'm not saying they're any better in Owen Sound. There is a couple I've seen that were very polite in Owen Sound. that kind of thing. But because I don't drive, I'm not gonna go out of my way all the time just to go to a stupid thing like that. That's what I mean. Like it's that kind of thing. But no, but that's why I said for the Wyerton area, the churches here in Wyerton are turning a lot of people away. And I've heard, like I said, I've heard several complaints from several people. And when I started hearing complaints and people complaining about the way the churches operate here, that on how phony they really are, and I used to actually seen it for myself too. That's when I took a step back and I walked away from all the whole propaganda of it. And that. So, not to be rude, but I don't want to be caught up in the middle of all that nonsense and that kind of thing. So, so this is a good social for tonight, but for today also too. But that so. Again, like I said, time to time we may get guest speakers that may pop in on Jokers on Duty. Like some of the actors may pop in and interview with Jokers on Duty, like Michael Klotz did. That'll be great. They'll get an invite. Like I said, if you are gonna come in on as a guest on Jokers on Duty, make sure you use the live video stream. Do not use Facebook video chat while I'm on here. Please do not call my cell phone while you're on here, or FaceTime me while you're on here, because it is while I'm on here, it's very, very disrupting. If I'm on a live stream, use my base phone, because my base phone is not as little less interrupters than you directly coming right through my cell phone to my cell phone number, and then blocking my streams. Not blocking my streams, but overpowering my streams. And that kind of thing, and then they don't turn out. Because it is a live video stream, and that with it being Halloween, they will come through my Facebook live stream as a guest, and that so I can invite them if they're friends on my list. Or I don't know, I may, if I do it, invite them or whatever if they connect, and that. So anyhow, so I covered what Halloween night is. I'll be on again probably before then too, still giving you the updates and everything. Again with the fashion show when it comes up next year, Optimus That fashion show. We're looking at some of the, good information for people about how much tickets are in advance, if you can buy online or not. Sometimes you can't. Normally, most events you can buy those online, that kind of thing. Or if you come into town, you can pay at the door the day of the event, going in at the time of the day of the event, and I'll give you the time and when that's going on for, and that. So once I find out more about that, and which they're always nice to see because it brings a lot of people out. And yeah, and everything's getting all dolled up again for Halloween, for one last show. Not our Jokers Under the last show. I mean just the Hunter's Cabin for this year. That way it's going to be open just for Halloween night, just for Devil's Night, Halloween night, and that. So that'll be great, and I hope everybody's is still enjoying the Jokers on Duty, and that. And like Michael Klotz would say, peace, love, positivity. And this is this was your Gypsy Rover. This is your Jokers on Duty. Have a great day.